We will now call the June 20th, 2023 Common Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Here.
Alderman Lorig is excused. Alderman Ritz.
Here.
Alderman Marshall is excused. Alderman Gale.
Here.
And Alderman Guzikowski is joining us by telephone tonight.
Thank you, Catherine. Would everybody
Here.
please rise for the pledge? Ashley, would you start us off, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That will bring us to the approval of minutes of June 6th, 2023. If everybody please take a few moments to review those. And when you're satisfied, there's no discussions, corrections, errors, or omissions?
I'd have to actually abstain on that, so we're going to have to hold those.
Oh, okay, we will have to hold them. We won't have a quorum. Can I get a motion to
Yeah,
hold?
Gail
them?
move to hold the approval of minutes from June 6, 2023.
Kirkowski, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzikowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Okay, that will bring us to item 4 in recognition. And as June is Pride Month, we are going to do a mayoral proclamation for LGBTQ and Pride Month on the whole. So Catherine, if you'd please read that in the record.
Certainly. LGBTQ plus Pride Month, whereas the month of June was designated Pride Month to commemorate the Stonewall Uprising, which occurred in June of 1969 and is generally recognized as the catalyst of the LGBTQ plus rights movement. And whereas the city of Oak Creek cherishes the value and dignity of each person and appreciates the importance of equality and freedom. And whereas the city of Oak Creek accepts and welcomes people of diverse backgrounds and believes a diverse population leads to a more vibrant community. And whereas the city of Oak Creek strives to be a community where everyone is celebrated for our differences, rather than being limited by what divides us. And whereas the city of Oak Creek denounces prejudice and unfair discrimination based on age, gender identity, gender expression, race, color, religion, marital status, national origin, sexual orientation, or physical attributes as an affront to our fundamental principles. And whereas the city of Oak Creek appreciates the culture, civic, and economic contributions of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer plus, LGBTQ plus community, which strengthen our social welfare. And whereas it is imperative that people in our community, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, feel valued, safe, empowered, and supported by their peers and community leaders. And whereas, despite being marginalized, LGBTQ plus people continue to celebrate authenticity, acceptance, and love. Now therefore be it resolved that on this day, Tuesday, June 20th, 2023, that I, Daniel J. Bakavich, Mayor of the City of Oak Creek, declare the month of June 2023 as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in the City of Oak Creek, and invite residents to eliminate prejudice everywhere it exists, respect the rights of all people, and celebrate the great diversity of our city. Dated this 20th day of June 2023.
Thank you, Catherine. Council, does anybody have any comments concerning the mayoral proclamation in the community and Pride Month? Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite Chief Kresick up.
Hey, good evening, Council. Mayor, thanks for the opportunity tonight. So I'm up here tonight to lend support to the proclamation. You know, emergency call or through daily interactions, regardless of race, nationality, or orientation, the department will treat all community members with compassion and respect. Now, in addition to the community members, the department is proud this month to support the LGBTQ plus members of the fire service, their families or friends, and recognize them for their efforts. The Oak Creek Fire Department strives to be an inclusive workplace. And tonight I'd really like to commend our membership for supporting that value and recognize the members and leadership of Local 1848, Lieutenant Jerry Biggert, firefighters Matt Schrader and Charles Prins, for the recent initiatives in recognition and support of this month. Mayor, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate the kind words. Few words from me. It is a mayoral proclamation. I do believe this is very important to recognize. The LGBTQ community is part of the Oak Creek community. We are all one people. Their contributions to this city, the services that are provided, the businesses that are run, the families that are being raised, are all part of this community and a vibrant part of it and deserve to be recognized. So I'm very glad to reach out and recognize this group in this very, very important time in this country's history as things are changing and family units are changing. And we are a diverse community and we're accepting of all, regardless of culture, race, sexual orientation. So with that, enjoy Pride Month, and I applaud the firefighters, and particularly 1848, who have taken some action to help fundraise and are currently selling some Pride Month shirts, I believe, and they'll be at the market this weekend. So please get out there, support the community, support your neighbors, support southeastern Wisconsin and the entire state of Wisconsin as we celebrate Pride Month this June. So no action is needed on that. We can now move on to first public hearing, and that is consideration of a request submitted by Riverwood Arms Estate, Legacy Riverwood LLC, for a conditional use permit for roof-mounted solar collection systems on the property at 520 and 557 West Riverwood Drive. Catherine, if you would.
Certainly. Public hearing number 1 is to consider a request submitted by Riverwood Arms Estates, Legacy Riverwood LLC, for a conditional use permit for roof-mounted solar energy collection systems on the properties at 520 and 557 West Riverwood Drive. Applicant is Riverwood Arms Estates, Legacy Riverwood LLC. Property owner, Legacy Riverwood LLC. There follows the legal description. Date of notice is May 24th, 2023.
And that'll get us to Doug.
All right, thank you and good evening. My name is Doug Seymour. I am the Director of Community Development for the city. And the first of 2 public hearings this evening is for a conditional use permit for the properties at 520 and 557 West Riverwood Drive to allow for the installation of roof-mounted solar energy collection systems, solar arrays. So the applicant is requesting this conditional use permit for 5 of the apartment buildings. The address is listed, and you can just see on the exhibits kind of showing where those are and how those units would relate to the roof line there. The project really consists of installing those solar arrays similar to the arrays that already exist on the 6th apartment building. All will be installed flush to the roof sections of the building in conformance with code requirements. There are some fire department requirements for shutoffs, but that's not unusual, and those would be adhered to. Just as a general note, solar arrays are actually encouraged, and as part of a future update to the zoning code, you may see that this conditional use permit becomes a permitted use in the future, because it is something that is to be encouraged, very low impact, and something that, again, does not probably warrant a conditional use hearing in the future, but that's later on. As of right now, that does require a conditional use permit, does require a public hearing, and the Plan Commission, in their review of the proposed conditional use permit for the solar arrays, did consider conditions and restrictions and did recommend approval of this conditional use to the Common Council. This being a public hearing, but ask anyone who has any questions or comments regarding the proposal to approve a conditional use permit for roof-mounted solar energy collection systems on the properties at 520 and 557 West Riverwood Drive. You please approach the podium, give your name and address, and proceed to address your questions or comments to the Common Council. This public hearing is now open.
Thank you, Doug. As Doug said, this is a public hearing. I will be making 3 calls. This will be the first. Second call, anybody wishing to speak, please approach the podium. Please give your name and address. Third and final call, anybody wishing to speak on item 5 on the conditional use permit. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and move on to consideration of an ordinance approving that conditional use permit for the roof-mounted solar collection systems on the properties at 520 and 557 West Riverwood Drive. Open it up to the council for any questions, comments?
Seems uncontroversial, Mayor.
Doug, so all commercial properties that have solar, that want to put a solar unit would currently require a,
For roof mounted, I believe the intent was, I mean, because these do have, or potentially have some effect on appearance of those commercial buildings, and multifamily buildings, that, it warranted some additional review, but, that we'll discuss that at a later date, but as of right now, it does require a conditional use permit.
And engineering also has to review it because it can fundamentally change the structure. Anything else? Okay, seeing none, motion on 6, please.
Gail, move to approve ordinance 3075, approving a conditional use permit for roof-mounted solar energy collection systems on the properties at 520 and 557 West Riverwood Drive.
Wetzel second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Moving right along, item 7 is consideration of a request to rezone the property at 239 East College from B4 General Business to M1 Manufacturing with a conditional use permit for heavy manufacturing and equipment sales and rental on portions of the property at 6340 South Howell Avenue and 239 East College. Catherine?
Public hearing number 2 is to consider a request submitted by Matthew Mayring Anderson Ashton to rezone the property at 239 East College Avenue from B4 General Business to M1 Manufacturing with a conditional use permit for heavy manufacturing and equipment sales and rental on portions of the properties at 6340 South Howell Avenue and 239 East College Avenue. Applicant is Matthew Mayring Anderson Ashton. Property owner is SSV Oak Creek 1 LLC. There follows the legal description. Date of notice is May 24th, 2023.
Doug?
Thank you, Catherine. This conditional use permit, as was just spoken of, is for the properties at 6340 South Howell Avenue and 239 East College Avenue. Those properties are indicated by the red cross hatching on the exhibit before you at this moment. The proposal is to change the zoning on this to from an M1 manufacturing with a conditional use permit for heavy manufacturing and equipment sales and rental. So both heavy manufacturing and equipment sales and rentals are conditional uses in that M1 zoning district. Now, the land use plan for this area calls for this entire corner to be as a business park. So the manufacturing zoning certainly does fall within the parameters of the business park land use category. And there'll be some implications as we proceed to site plan and building plan approval in front of the Plan Commission. Council will note that a similar proposal or concept was presented at least before the Plan Commission earlier this year, which included properties beyond this original corner and included some additional properties as part of a much larger business park development on that corner. That has since been kind of scaled back, at least initially, to include just this corner and the properties in question for Ames. So Ames, or American Industrial Motor Service, is proposing to move their current operations from Milwaukee to this site in an approximately 80,000 square foot building. They include electrical apparatus repair, which is electrical motor repair, and parts for electrical motor systems, as well as a sister company, which is Pinnacle Engineering. So, as we describe what this business is and why we're looking for conditional use permit for heavy manufacturing or equipment sales and rental. Well, the equipment that is being worked on by this company is sometimes very large and very heavy. But really, the processes that are being used to service that equipment are not, and they're not dissimilar to the processes that are in play for any number of similar types of uses in our existing industrial parks. Whether it's using industrial solvents, paints, gases, oils, these are all part of their original operations. It's just that what they're servicing are some very large pieces of equipment. And those processes, much like every other process that is involved in industrial processes in our industrial parks and elsewhere are subject to review and approval by the fire department for if there are any hazardous materials involved. And it certainly would have some implications on these fire suppression systems for the building, but, you know, it really is not totally cut and dried, you know, what is heavy manufacturing, what is light manufacturing. Plan Commission felt that just to be on the safe side, that we do go through the conditional use permit process. And as for the equipment sales and rental, this is not something where you walk in off the street and rent or buy an industrial motor, because these things come in on the back of flatbed trucks. They have to be loaded and unloaded with cranes. It's just occasionally the company will, and I suspect we've got someone from the company that can further describe it, sell or rent or lease one of these pieces of equipment. Again, we just want to cover all the bases here. I'll show you a few images that are being presented as part of a site plan approval that will be forthcoming before the Plan Commission. This would be looking from the northwest to the southeast, that being the corner on Howell and College Avenue. So while it's an industrial building, it really does have the business park aesthetic that we're looking for that high profile corner. Okay, this is a view from the southwest to the northeast. This would be the rear of the building on the south. And this would be looking from the northeast to the southwest. So if we kind of go back to the site plan again, and again, you're not approving the site plan, you're approving the rezoning and conditional use permit, but it calls for a building which, you know, does not have the traditional things that you would typically see in an industrial building, such as the big parking bays for the trucks. There'll be no outdoor storage. This is not a cartage and express facility. It is a very specialized facility, which with all the work, being done inside, they really can't load or unload outside because of the size and the weight of this equipment. So it really is a case where, everything's taking place within the building, and the building again would be approved or reviewed and approved by the Plan Commission. With that in mind, the proposed use does conform or substantially conform with the adopted comprehensive plan, which again calls for these properties to be business park. And after careful consideration by the Plan Commission at meetings in May 9th and 23rd of this year, the Commission did recommend a council approval of the request subject to the attached conditions and restrictions, which certainly I will be able to discuss and answer questions should the Commission or the public have the council or the public have any questions about those. But with that in mind, this is a public hearing. Again, anyone with any questions, comments regarding the proposed rezoning and conditional use permit for the properties at 6340 South Howell Avenue and 239 East College Avenue, please approach the microphone, give your name, address, and proceed to address your comments and or questions to the Common Council. This public hearing is also now open.
Thank you, Doug. This will be the first call. Anybody wishing to speak? Second call. Anybody wishing to speak? Third and final call. Anybody wishing to speak on item 7 on the conditional use permit? We will now close the public hearing and move on to item 8, which is consideration of the ordinance rezoning the property at 239 East College to M1 Manufacturing and establishing a conditional use permit for heavy manufacturing and equipment sales and rental on the portions of the property at 6340 South Howell and 239 East College. I'll open it up to the council. Questions, comments? Ken, anything? Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. By virtue of history, to add on what Doug was saying, and for those who, I don't think, Jim, you were here when we at the first go around for this, but the developer did come to Plan Commission to do this entire parcel of, and it drew almost unanimous opposition from the residents who lived on Jewel and myself, because we felt that it was labeled as heavy manufacturing, and perhaps that wasn't the concept that I was looking for that corner. So it didn't pass through Plan Commission. So they did come back with what we have tonight, and
prior to tonight, and about a month or so ago, the company officials invited us down to their current location down in Oklahoma, and they're currently they're renting or they're tenants in these buildings, and literally the equipment that they bring in, they have to drive it into the building. It is just so huge and so heavy. And I mean, they have a 20-ton hoist in there that it gets maxed out when they lift these things off the truck. So one of the questions was, what do you do if equipment shows up, say at midnight? Because it's not a 24/7 operation. And they calmed us by saying, well, then we will have somebody at the building to bring that truck into the building, because it's expensive to have trucks sit around and wait for 8 o'clock in the morning. So they bring it in right away, and there's nobody sitting outside waiting with the engines running. So they have another separate building where they have they fix these electric motors that shred automobiles and other huge shredders. And they have spare ones in this one building, and when a company sends a broken one in, they ship the other one out. So they're kind of holding them for customers in this building. And, sure, there's cleaning and there's work inside, but walking out of that building on Oklahoma Avenue, I mean, I didn't smell anything on the outside that I smelled on the inside. I mean, it was for an industrial building, it was fairly clean and it looked very efficient, and they had guys working, and it was quiet, and, they were doing their job. And, initially I was opposed to this, but since I had an opportunity to go down and look at this, and since they've come back with just this corner, I know some of the residents didn't get notices for this because, as I told them, well, then you live outside the 600 feet notice area, so you would not have gotten the notice on the hearings that they had for the Plan Commission. But I told them that the only negative on this is the fact that it's classified as heavy manufacturing, because that's just what it falls into. But it really isn't heavy manufacturing, but that's what we have to call it. And that was the initial alarm that the residents had was, well, we don't want no foundries, we don't want anything like that on this corner. And I'm glad they came back with this. They need that little sliver of land to make the building work. And as far as the rest of their properties, I'm sure now that we've gone through this whole experience and the neighbors are now in tune to what might be done on the southernmost parcels that the company owns, that they'll keep the neighbors in mind, and I don't think that'll be a problem. But after doing this site inspection and talking to them about what they do and the rework here, I think it's a good fit for that corner with the areas that they want to talk about.
Thank you, Steve. Jim?
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to echo what Steve had to say. We had the opportunity to visit the operation over there, and what Steve said is exactly what's going to happen here. It's a building built specifically to house this operation. It's a good from my standpoint, a nice addition to the business base here in the community and the employment base of the community. And now that they've actually focused it on this particular parcel rather than the entire corner, it gives us a lot more options in terms of facilitating the planning of the rest of the property. So I'm fully in support of what's going on here.
Okay, thank you. Just to bring you up to speed, I think this project got off on the wrong foot. That heavy manufacturing really denoted the product they work with. It's a very heavy product. In my career, I've experienced these things. It's highly specialized work when they rebuild these motors. It's a super clean environment. This is just an outstanding addition to the city, quite frankly. And they are taking a gateway corner. And we were concerned, and of course the renderings didn't play into the conditional use, but you get a look at what this building's going to be, and it's a great fit for that corner. We did tell them, the landscaping specs, when it comes through, you'll be held to a higher standard, because you do sit on the corner, and I'm really hoping to see if there's a possibility to partner with the city to possibly get a gateway sign on that corner as well. So, I'm in full support of this as well. Chris, any comments? I don't mean to leave you out.
No, I supported this at the Plan Commission, and the first go-around version of it the revised version, I am in full support of as well.
Okay. And for the record, I did receive a phone call message today from a resident. He's been here at numerous plan meetings, and he's opposed to anything on that corner. He'd like to keep everything green, and he just wanted me to state that for the record. And Ashley, you're on Plan Commission as well. Is there anything you'd like to add? Say? Yes?
No, I think that sums it up very well. Thank you.
Okay. With that, motion on 8.
Kirkowski make a motion to adopt ordinance number 3076, rezoning the property at 239 East College Avenue to M1 manufacturing and establishing a conditional use permit for heavy manufacturing and equipment sales and rental on portions of the properties at 6340 South Howell Avenue and 239 East College Avenue.
Ritzel, second.
Roll call?
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Ritz.
Guzekowski,
Aye.
aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Item 9 is new business, and it's consideration of a motion approving a memorandum of understanding between the City of Oak Creek, the International Association of Firefighters Local 1848 regarding Article 40 of the labor agreement. Max, are you going to handle this one? Thank you.
Max Gagan, Assistant City Administrator and Comptroller. Before you tonight is a memorandum of understanding between the City of Oak Creek and International Association of Firefighters, Local 1848, regarding Article 40 of their labor agreement. So as the Common Council may recall, last month we had a similar MOU agreement between the city and the Oak Creek Professional Police Officers Association, which adjusted residency requirements. And that expanded that from a 20-mile radius from city limits to 35 miles, including some intersecting cities, villages, and towns. The Common Council also did approve a update to the personnel policy manual so that non-represented public safety officials were afforded that same residency requirement. And this action tonight is simply to have our fire union have that same residency requirement so that all of our public safety officials, regardless if they're represented or non-represented, have the same residency requirement. With that, happy to answer any questions you may have.
Excellent. Thank you, Max. Questions for Max regarding the MOU?
Just for Jimmy's sake and your sake, because Chief Kresick actually addressed this in our personnel meeting. Gave us great comfort in the fact that he sees very little impact, or no impact in his operation.
Chief, do you want to say anything, or?
I had no questions on the MOU.
Oh, thank you, Chris. I was getting to you. I didn't forget about you.
Mike Kresick, Representative Fire Department. Really, and thank you, Alderman Gale, for those comments regarding operations. We did take a look at that and what the potential impact would be. And as I discussed at the Personnel Committee, based on our current deployment and operations, very little impact. The gain in it certainly is in the ability in terms of recruitment and retention. So we see a strong benefit with this on both sides. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief. And I'm glad the Chief touched on that because, things are changing and it's, the whole environment's different than it was just 10 short years ago. And it's really helps for recruitment all the way around. So we can get some of those great candidates that we're looking to hire here in Oak Creek to service our residents. If there's no further discussion, motion please.
He'll move to approve a memorandum of understanding between the City of Oak Creek and the International Association of Firefighters Local 1848 regarding Article 40 of the labor agreement.
Kirkowski will second.
Guzekowski, a second.
Roll call?
Alderman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on, item 10 is consideration of motion to concur with the mayor's appointment. This is for the Fire and Police Commission, 5-year term to expire in April of 2028. Holy smokes. For Kristen L. Summers, 630 East Quail Run. Questions, comments? Seeing none, before we do, I'd like to thank Kristen for stepping up. I spoke with her. She's very excited to take part. We look forward to her joining, and the clerk will take care of all the details pending approval from the council. So, with that, this is her first commission, yes. But again, very, very excited young person to take part in city boards and commissions. So we're always happy when we see somebody step up like that. With that,
Thank you, Mayor. Gail will move to concur with the mayor's appointment as listed.
Gutzel, second.
Guzekowski, second.
roll call.
Alderman Ritz,
Aye.
Gale,
Aye.
Guzekowski,
Guzekowski, aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Okay. That'll bring us to engineering and item 11, and that's consideration of motion to enter into a professional service agreement with Edgewater Resource, Inc., to provide construction observation services related to the construction of project 23005 North Lakefront Bluff Stabilization and Revetment located on the city properties at 4326 East Depot Road and 4329 East Depot Road and 8940 South Fifth Avenue, up to a cost of $182,300. Ashley.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. Ashley Kopczynski, Assistant City Engineer. As stated, before you is a motion to enter into professional services agreement with Edgewater Resources to provide construction observation services related to the construction of the North Lakefront Bluff Stabilization and Revetment Project. As you may recall, in 2020, the city retained coastal engineering consultant Edgewater Resources to provide the initial design services for the bluff stabilization and revetment design. Through the last few years, Edgewater and the city have worked together to obtain permits, create final design, and bid package, which was actually bid out this past spring and awarded to Edgerton contractors. So the work on that stabilization actually just recently has begun. So to ensure successful construction of this unique project, Edgewater will provide expert on-site oversight, work collaboratively with the city to evaluate and process any design modifications, inspect the quarries, to assure stone meets specifications, review contractor submittals, answer questions, and provide other related specialized services during this construction project. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Questions for Ashley tonight?
I was a little surprised that the quarries, they just don't have certification of their own product? And so
Oh, well-
we have to pay for somebody to certify their product?
Well, the city has certain specifications, and we are there to verify that those have been met. So I guess I sort of equate it to, we, like road projects, for example. We have, like, stone goes on every road project, DOT, city, whatnot. There are certain specifications that have to be met for the stone. So they say, okay, grade 2 stone, this is what needs to be met. There is still a process where the contractor and the consultant that's overseeing it has to still do a verification that that stone is being placed or that concrete is being placed. So it's,
Like it's double check.
it is, yeah. It's unfortunate we can't be more trustworthy, I guess, with it, but
And maybe if I could shed some light on that. Remember that the stone that we're getting, these are very engineered solutions to the shoreline, and these are big stones, big rocks.
Right.
And in addition to that, there's some specialized stone that is being incorporated in the North Bluff Park Plan, which is kind of those stepping or sheet stones, which provide that kind of transition to the water. So it's not just a matter of, yeah, we'll take 100,000 boulders of your choice. We're going to be very specialized in terms of what we want to see out there, and that's, I think, where the additional inspection comes from.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's a factor of my business experience. We ask for certifications and hold those certifications. If a bolt were to fail, we have the certification.
it's on them.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, motion.
Gail moved to enter into a professional services agreement with Edgewater Resources, Inc. to provide construction observation services related to the construction of Project 23005 North Lakefront Bluff Stabilization and Revetment, located on the city properties at 4326 East Depot Road, 4329 East Depot Road, and 8940 South Fifth Avenue at a cost of up to $182,300.
Kirkowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
And item 12 is consideration of a motion authorizing the engineering department to enter into a contract with M Squared Engineering Services LLC for construction inspection services for 2023 and 2024. Ashley.
Thank you, Mayor. As stated before you, it's a motion to consider authorizing the engineering department to enter into a contract with M Squared Engineering Services for construction inspection services for 2023 and 2024. So these next three items from engineering are all pretty much based on the same premise. So as you're aware, the city has seen significant growth through development lately. Currently, there are 3 development projects underway that have public infrastructure on them, one being Lakeshore Commons, Broadacre, and the Oaks at 8100. And then also starting later this year and into the fall is anticipated 3 more developments, the Haiti development, Edgemont Estates, and Stonebrook on the Park. So outside of that, the city also continues to invest in our own public infrastructure with 5 scheduled projects, one of them being Safe Routes to School Phase 1 that just started last week, the 13th Street Sidewalk, the 2023 Road Improvement Project, which is anticipated to begin very shortly, the Abendschein Park entrance, parking lot, and Fire Station 3 parking lot. So one of the main responsibilities of our senior engineering field tech is to inspect those city projects to ensure the verifying compliance with specifications and that the work is being done correctly. Unfortunately, our senior engineering tech has recently accepted another position with another community, and he will be ending his employment with the city on June 23rd. So now the engineering department is faced with that situation, along with the stormwater engineering position still has not been filled either since January. So in order to ensure that the construction of the public infrastructure meets specifications, engineers is requiring outside assistance. So we put out a request for proposal. The engineering department did receive 3 proposals. So they were reviewed by engineering, and 2 firms stood out from the standpoint of experience, availability, and ability for material testing. So those 3 firms were M Squared, RE Smith, and AECOM. So our thoughts are that M Squared will provide the inspection services on the city projects, which will allow the city to capitalize on their material testing capabilities and municipal expertise. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this request.
Questions for Ashley? Oh, Steve?
Just a comment. I mean, it's disappointing that we can't find the staff to do it in-house, but it's a good sign that we've got so much development that we have to go outside for the help. So. That's all.
That's it? Anything else? Okay, motion then.
I'll move to authorize the engineering department to enter into a contract with M Squared Engineering Services LLC for construction inspection services for 2023, 2024.
Ritzel, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Guzekowski, aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
And item 13 is consideration of a motion authorizing the engineering department to enter into a contract with R.A. Smith for construction inspection services for 2023, 2024. Ashley.
Thank you. As stated, this is a motion to consider authorizing the engineering department to enter into a contract with R.E. Smith for construction inspection services for 2023 and 2024. This same reasonings, staffing, we did use the same proposals that we evaluated for M Squared that we are anticipating on using on our local projects. And we use those same RFPs to evaluate for this one as well. So those 3 proposals were for M Squared, R.E. Smith, and AECOM. We have chosen R.E. Smith, and would anticipate them helping out with more of the development side of things on the development projects. So the water and sewer utility currently contract with R.E. Smith to help with inspection on the public water and sanitary on the development of projects. So for efficiency purposes, we are recommending that R.E. Smith would help out more with the development side of thing and try to capture those efficiencies with them. If you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
And questions for Ashley? Okay. Seeing none, motion?
I will move to authorize the engineering department to enter into contract with R.E. Smith for construction inspection services for 2023 and 2024.
Kirkowski will second.
Roll call?
Alderman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
And item 14 is consideration of a motion authorizing the engineering department to enter into a contract with R.A. Smith for stormwater consulting services for 2023. Ashley?
Thank you. As stated, this is to consider a motion authorizing the engineering department to enter into a contract with R.E. Smith for stormwater consulting services for 2023. So as previously mentioned, the stormwater engineer retired in January, and we have been unable to fill his position. One of the main duties of the stormwater engineer is to work with developers mainly on their stormwater management facilities when required, and all of those must also meet the city, MMSD, and DNR requirements. So again, proposal was sent out. A request for proposal was sent out. We received 5 proposals for this. The top firm stood out from a standpoint of similar experience in the municipal setting, a strong relationship with reviewing agencies, and their availability as well. So the 5 firms were R.E. Smith, Aqualis, Baxter & Woodman, Kapoor, and Robinson. So in the past, the city has utilized R.E. Smith for past water projects with great success. So that's who we are recommending for this as well. Any questions? I'd be happy to address.
Questions for Ashley on this one? This contract.
Give me a break, kid.
Go for it, Jim.
Ritzel motion to authorize the engineering department to enter into a contract with R.A. Smith for stormwater consulting services for 2023.
Yeah, well, second.
Roll call?
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
And item 15 is the License Committee. I will turn that over to Alderman Kirkowski at this time.
Thank you, Mayor. I trust everybody's had an opportunity to review the items on the Common Council report for tonight. Does anybody have any questions, cares, or concerns? All right, seeing none, Kirkowski make a motion to approve the various license requests as listed on the June 20th, 2023 License Committee report.
Yeah, well, second.
Roll call?
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
And item 18 is their vendor summary report for June 14th, 2023 in the amount of $535,238.95. You do have the report. If there are any questions, please take the floor and address the appropriate person to answer.
Mayor, I have just one
Yes.
question. It's for Andrew or Max. How's that platform with the school district working with regards to rec department stuff? Any feedback or anything on how that's going?
Alderman Kirkowski, we're actually planning a presentation to the Common Council probably by the end of summer.
Okay.
So maybe we can check in on that, and then it'll be a little more of a robust dialogue we can have at that time on the
All right, thank you.
on the presentation.
No further questions? Motion?
Ritzel motion to approve the June 14th, 2023 vendor summary report in the amount of $535,238.95.
Kirkowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Guzekowski, aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
And item 17 is consideration of a resolution authorizing the payment of bills, debts, and obligations. So if you read on your report, it has to do with the July meeting that we do not have. And unfortunately, our bills still have to be paid, so we have to authorize the departments to make those payments. That's what it comes down to, Jim. So, if you want further explanation of that, Max can probably give you the technical stuff on it.
I think we
So if there's no further questions, motion,
Webster.
resolution.
Ritz moves to adopt resolution number 12416-062023, authorizing payment of bills, debts, and obligations.
Kirkowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Guzekowski, aye.
Okay, and that'll get us to adjournment. Before we adjourn, I believe today's the last day of spring. Tomorrow's first day of summer.
Just means that, this is mean the daylight gets shorter, which we don't.
After tomorrow.
After tomorrow. Tomorrow's actually, I think, the longest day of the year. So anyways, welcome to summer, and it's been an exciting spring here in Oak Creek. So we look forward to summer and all the activities come with it. So check out whether Drexel Town Square, Abendschein Park, 4th of July, tons to do here this summer. So, motion to adjourn.
Kirkowski make a motion to adjourn.
Ritz will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you all.
Coach. See you.